everyone. Welcome to thank you. Um, our concluding class for this cohort, right? We are still going to maybe meet because maybe project discussing projects, presenting projects, right? So we might still meet, but this is like concluding the cohort. So so far we started data analysis from we started from Excel, right? We most of us have had a wonderful time doing Excel. I can say that. Then we use Excel for various things, right? We clean data, we saw how you could use Excel basically. We understand basically understanding how Excel works and how you can use it to um, perform any tasks you are willing to use it to upon. So we did that. We also went on to we did a video on SQL, right? So now I was very particular about the arrangements. Of course, I could have done Excel then move on to Power BI, so that we could start visualizations. But um, I wanted us to experience SQL first before experiencing Power BI. So we went on to do SQL. We did. I remember joins. Joins was very interesting. um, Handling data differently, importing data, dealing with various softwares. I think we had to do used to had to we had to work with two softwares, right? PGAdmin and MySQL. So I would say we dealt with the basics of SQL. We did a bit of digging deep. That was when we started doing subqueries, right? Then we moved on to Power BI, which is like the most relative easy tool amongst all the tools that we dealt with. Like I think Power BI is still like the most simplest. All you need to do is just click. Yes, there are very few, what do I call it? Where you have to write an actual implementation, right? But like I said, very few. They were more of just drag and drops. And of course, one thing I didn't mention with SQL was that one of the things that we also did was interacting with a server. So you can connect to servers and get your data from there, right? So SQL is basically you can use it to store large chunks of data. So when you're talking big data, you're talking about SQL, you're talking about NoSQL. So those are the things you are talking about necessarily. Then Power BI, of course, visualization tool, majorly for visualization. Now, all of these tools, like I mentioned, you can do all of like on Excel, you can visualize, on even on SQL, there's visualizations. There are applications that allow you to visualize. For instance, I know about one. There's I'm trying to remember the actual name. I think it is data analysis in cryptocurrencies, right? So you can analyze cryptocurrencies. Those cryptocurrency data are stored in SQL database. So you need to interact with them to create visualizations, right? So I know about a few of them, and I think Dune Analytics, that's DUNE. I think they are into that, yeah. So there's, oh, of course, that's another thing. That's another field that is venturable, cryptocurrency data analysis. So SQL is basically used for analysis. Sorry, Power BI is majorly meant for visualizations. It's the master of visualizations in the tools that we treated. I wouldn't say it's the master of all visualizations because Power BI belongs to Microsoft, right? Google has their own version, which is Looker Studio. I think you can just type Looker Studio, or better still, you could just of course, yeah, this is Lucas Studios. Yeah, I used Lucas Studio one time for my project, personal project. You could just check visualization tools visualization tools for data analysis, for data analysts. I think maybe yeah, you can see. So here we have Tableau, Power BI. We have Click. Yeah, Click. I remember Click. I used Click about 3 years ago now. Uh, about 3 years ago from now, I used Click for one of. I think that was where I had an internship there. So what they were using at the time was Click View. So I had to learn that, and that was my first time handling the data analytic tool. Right? I didn't even understand data analysis then. I just know that okay, I need to create dashboards, which is why I have to do this. So yeah, and we have a lot more, right? I think you can see 15 more. So there are various ones out there, right? So you are not restricted. So you can even see matplotlib here. I'm sure we know what matplotlib is right now. So so that's basically talking about visualization. And lastly, Python programming language, which is where we are rounding off on. For me, I would say this is my favorite. So I'm usually biased when people are talking about tools. I'm biased about it because I so much love Python for my programming language. Maybe because that was what I learned first, right? And every other one, I think I've learned about a few programming language, but I still decided to stick with Python because it is relatively easy, simple, and why complicate things, right? So yeah, so that's an overview of what we have done, like the tools we have dealt with. So for today, what I actually want us to do is we are going to be doing something more of like um natural data analysis, right? So like a run through. I think we've attempted that in some of our classes, right? But um, there's no harm in re-emphasizing something, right? Because of the importance. So currently, what I'm planning to do is to do a rundown of a data analysis, right? So now the so I'm just going to start from here. First of all, why are we? Why do we need data analysis? Why do we need data analysis? Does anyone want to even try? Does anyone want to try to answer that question? Why do we need data analysis? Why do we do data analysis? Anybody? I think we have come too far to not get any response.
Visual representation of information.
Okay, visual representation of information. Yeah, awesome. Um, so basically, from from the little understanding I have, so the need for data analysis or data analysis arise or came as a result of the need to understand data. Now, primarily, the need for data analysis or is to basically you want to understand your data, you want to get insight from it, you want to get meaningful information that will drive insight. So I think it was when we were talking about Excel that was laying emphasis on it that your analysis or whatever analysis you are doing um should be towards gaining meaningful insight. So you can actually gain insight from your data, right? And it might not be meaningful. Now, how do you determine who the data your analysis is meaningful to? Your stakeholders, the people that you are actually that's going to actually need this data or who are providing the data. Now, these are the people that determine the meaningfulness of your data. So, for instance, now, I am a I own a supermarket, right? I have a data set. Now, okay, I own a supermarket and I have a data set, and data set is about store items on the shelves, item positions on the shelves, their sales, how they've made sales, stuff like that. Now, an insight that will be meaningful to me will be okay, which particular shelf I've been selling the most, like I've been making the most sales, I've been producing more sales, right? Where are those shelves? Now, where are they located? Now, are there any other products that are merged together? For instance, now, there was an analysis that if you have Pampers and alcohol in the same shelf, you tend to make more sales on those two products because a most of the time husbands get, they run errands for their wives and they want to get pampers, and at the same time when they are getting the pampers they are seeing the alcohol. So like that's like a marketing strategy, and that can only be gotten from data. So that's you using data to drive insights. Now that's where everything starts from. So the essence of everything is to what? Making, drive decision making. You want to, for instance, now what we are going to do today, you would I can bring out some things there, definitely for sure. So that's the point of, definitely, just to, if the goal is not to drive a decision, right? If the goal is not to provide insight, because driving decision and providing insights are two on two different levels. Yes. So if you are driving decision making, that means there's a decision to be made. But insights could just be, oh, something revealing that, oh, there's actually something like this and this and this and that and that and that. For instance, I think when I was displaying my work yesterday, there was a part of the data that displayed that in 1970 there was a very that was a year that had the large where the most that had the highest number of artworks being acquired, right? So that here seems to be very proficient. So you could, oh, that's an insight, right? But you driving decision making could be like, oh, okay, what are the number of what's the trend of artists that have ventured into artists, or how many items, how many artwork have been acquired over the years? Like, you seeing that trend, you could see, okay, is it going up, is it going down? If it's going up, you could say, oh, it looks like there's a high demand, people are going into this, then, oh, I can venture into it. Now that's you using that data to drive your decision making. Should I venture into artworks, should I not, right? So that's you venturing that's the point, that's you making decisions. So there's actually, of course they are similar, they are, but you can actually differentiate, you can distinguish between them actually. So basically, your data must drive insights to your stakeholders, or like drive their decision making process. Now, this takes me to um, the next option, which is storytelling. What is storytelling? Now, storytelling is the art of, okay, looks like I'm doing a lot of, okay, so basically what storytelling is you are trying to tell a story regarding your data, or you are telling a story with your data, with information that you have on your data. So let's look at it in a scenario like this. So look at two data analysts. One worked on a project, or both they both worked on a project. But the way the first one presented it, he came and presented, oh, I have this chart, I have this information, and these are the things that happened. There was a high number of this and this, that kind of presentation. That's just it just presented all the technical details he had to deal with. But imagine the other person come forward and was like, oh, he started with the story. Do you know that artists were very popular or known in the 90s, right? Now let's go into why they were being known. Then big guy, okay, in the 1970s there was a very high demand for it, there was no technology. Now that in that scenario, you have two people that presented their works. Now the person that would get the attention of the stakeholders would be the person that was actually telling the story to something that they can relate to. Your stakeholders is not going to be listening to um technical details, right? What things that you went through. They are not interested in that. They only need the information that will drive their decision making. And if you are not giving them that specific information, you are wasting their time. Even if eventually you tell them that, oh, this is the decision, or this is how this can drive your decision making, it still means that you've wasted a large amount of their time. In fact, when you start, by the time you start, you no longer have their attention. So that's off the table. So basically, you want to tell a story that is catching, a story that they can relate to. right, that your stakeholders can relate to. If they cannot relate to it, then even if the analysis will drive their decision making, no, it's not going to actually, you would have lost their attention, you would have lost their interest. So the point of storytelling is to gain their attention, to gain their interest, so that they would see all that they ought to see. So that's the actual point of storytelling. And it should be an art, something that we as data analysts we should get to, we should have at the back of our sleeves. We should have it at any, like, we should be able to tell a story. Basically, it could be anything, right? So something as simple as that. So we'll be doing a bit of that. I might not tell too much of stories, but I think we can do enough talking and start what we, try to do analysis. So today we'll be working on. Okay, before I continue, do you have any question? Does anybody have any question? All right. I'm not getting any question. Okay, so I think I can move on. All right. So now moving on, we are going to be working on a COVID-19 data set. So I have it in my, I've downloaded it already. So I will share, I will upload it to the drive so that we can all have access to it. I think I should do that now. So that we can, if you want to follow through, that would not be an issue. So I'm going to upload that now. um Let me see. Yeah. Uh, Sorry about the noise. Okay. I think my network is slowing down. Just Google Drive for you. Okay. While it's loading up, I think it's because of the second one that is being loaded concurrently. So while that is loading up, let me go back to Colab. So I'll be using Colab today. So I don't know if others have also have tried to import data into their Jupyter notebook, but I've been seeing some interesting things. So I think I want to upload the data, documents, IGN, data analysis, Python, COVID-19 data. Alright, so I'm uploading data now. So you can go there and pick a data up. I think I can also drop the link directly. So copy link. Sorry, I should share. Copy the link. This is a live class. Okay, let me see. Data analysis. Okay, yes, I've studied. So so that's the data set we are going to be using today. So now, of course, when you're starting your data analysis, there are some basic things you want to import. Beside your Python, right? So I'm using Python anyways. So first of all, import pandas, right? Pandas, very very important as PD. Then also import NumPy as NP. Then for visualization, you want to import matplotlib dot pyplots pyplot as plt. Then also I'm going to be importing one more library, that's Seaborn. I love using Seaborn. It doesn't stress me out. So import Seaborn as SNS. So just this two and yep. So another thing I have to do is upload the data here. So it's already in my Google Drive. I could, okay, I can connect to it from here, but should I? Okay, we are learning every day, so you can just click on this one. So when you click on it, it's going to mount the Google. You, of course, you accept the changes. So what will happen is that it's going to merge. It's going to open your Google Drive, right inside this place. So you can see Mountain Google Drive. So I think it's done. So if you refresh this, you see Drive. Then you can click My Drive. Then I think iGen. Oh, it's not here. Sorry, it's not this particular data. It's not this particular drive. That's why it's not here. But if you can use that to navigate, so when you see the data, I don't know. I think I should have a data set inside this place. I'm not too sure. Um, so many notebooks. How come I don't have a data set? Too bad. Oh yeah, this is a data set. So let me load this for instance. So just a copy path. So copy path. Then you come here, path, just like I usually do. Load it into a variable, right? Run this. Then pd dot read is a csv file, so underscore csv. Then paths. So if I run this now, just to demonstrate working with there, so you can see that the data has been loaded into um I think this data is I can't remember what data is about. It's an insurance data. I'm not so sure. So this is how you can just go about loading it. So I'm not just going to do this because I'm not working in the same Google Drive as where the data is. So I'll just upload it. So here I'm uploading. Okay, so as uploaded, data is not large. So to load this also, just take this copy path and run this. So I'm just going to run this and run this, and here you see the data. Right. So it's a data set, the COVID-19 data set. It has regions, the so for every date there's an actual case, every case of COVID-19 that happened. I wouldn't say every, but at least he has some to a large extent those data. So that's what we are going to be working with today. So moving on, you want to save this into a variable. Let's call it data. Just like to use a generic name. So after this, I can run data.get. That's to get the first 5 rows. Then, okay, so before I move on, of course, I mentioned COVID-19. So you expect that it's a data set about COVID-19 cases, right? So that's another thing. You need to know your data before you can start any analysis. Know your data, check out the columns, understand what the data is all about, what your column signifies. Do they stand for some different things? Are they ordinal? Is it supposed to be integer and it's currently in an object form? You know, all those little things. You need to go into that first before understanding your data. Um, Sorry about that. So basically, yeah, that's just about knowing your data. Now let's continue. So here I can see that I have date, state, region, confirm, dates, and recover. Those are the I think about 6 of them, 6 columns on my data sets. So I can go ahead to check their information, like info about them. So data.info. So when you do this, you see that okay, we have 3 integers and we have 3 objects. So it shows that all of these are supposed to from here to here is supposed to be integers and from here is supposed to be objects. This works, right? Region, of course, text. State should be text. State should be text. Then date should not be in objects. It should be in time series. In pandas date time formats actually, so that um you can do some interesting things with it. So those are okay things we'll deal with first. I think the cake so you work on. Sorry, basically, I lost myself for a second. So, so I was talking about the dates. You actually have to. work on it and change it to pandas this time function so you can interact with it easily. Now before I begin, I wrote down a couple of points that we have to look into. So, right, when you are working on these data sets, so first you need to check for you need to understand, are there missing data? Is your data complete? Do you have inconsistent? These are the aspects, the things that we mentioned when we're doing data cleaning and data entry. You need to understand these parts. Do they exist? Are they cleaned? Are they under the system? Why were they counted? Now, you check for missing values, then also you are definitely going to do a group by. So we want to do analysis based on the country. That's a country-wise analysis, right? We want to understand how things were done between the different countries, right? We want to understand the mortality rates for each country. For instance, now you don't want to, if you were traveling, oh, let's even leave that. I don't know if there are still cases of if there are still reported cases of COVID-19. But let's look at a scenario where you happen to want to travel out of, or you want to change location, you want to move to another region, right? This is something that you could look into. For instance, does this location have a high mortality rate or a very low mortality rate? Well, sorry, I need to just take a break. Just give me a second. Fuck, I'm sleeping. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, so I was talking about regions. Um, things that could influence you moving to a particular location, right? You want to understand their mortality rates. You want to understand if they have a very high recovery rates. Things like that. Those are the things you want to understand. And so I'm already talking about who can benefit from this analysis, right? It also makes sense that organization like World Health Organization, United Nations could also um, benefit from insights gotten from these data sets, right? When they look at the recovery rate of a particular country, they would know if they should deploy more resources or reduce the resources that are currently there. That's now talking about decision making at a larger scale, right? It's no longer for a single person. We're not talking about multiple individuals involved. So basically that's what we are going to be doing, just a bit of checking this. So of course I had to do this first before I start working on data sets. That's what I said. First principles first, understand your data, understand how you want to deal with it, right? Questions that you want to ask. I think we actually dealt with this in almost every of the data that we worked upon. So, uh, okay, I don't want to get distracted, but I want to show something. So since this is recorded, uh, so what I wanted to say was, so along the line, I was being asked why Jupyter Notebook, or someone said, why Collab? So one of the things interesting in Collab is it has some other functionalities that you can use. For instance, if you look at this button here, there are two buttons here. The first one is like you convert this data frame into a table that you can interact with, and the other one is to create charts based on the information on this data without having to do anything. So for instance, now if I click this, hold on, I think it's converting it. Yes, so yes, that's converted it. So now I could you know just sort this, just more like dealing with a data in Excel. So you can see I'm flipping through the dates and it's just going up. Was this going up? I didn't pay attention to that, but the region was growing up because the region can be sorted. The confirmed, debt, recovery, recovered. This is you interacting with your data. Then let me do this. Now the other one is here. So this just chat. Sorry. So it's to give you some other charts that it is suggesting to you. So there's actually the aspect of um your analysis that has to do with multiple variables, right? So I know this is very tiny. Okay, hold on. I think I can convert into a dark mode, so we can. And usually I use a dark mode. Get off Google Colab. I think it's here. Dark mode. Why can't I? Oh, yeah. Sorry. This is it. Exactly. So I don't know if you'll be able to see it properly. You'll be able to see the charts. So it's just some basic suggestion that is trying to, just do on its own based on what it can detect from data. This is something that you get on Google Colab, but we are going to do our own anyways. We are not interested in what they have to offer to us. So continuing from where I've stopped, I'm checking for the empty data, checking and saying. So you can see that, yeah, you have about 140 out of 321. So it shows that about half of data is missing, I guess, for the states. So if you do data dot is NA, remember it's NA to check for missing value, then you use sum. That's to sum all the missing values together. You see you have about 181 states missing. Now that's bad. That's like more than 50% of your data is missing. Usually what I'll suggest is to drop it. So we are not going to consider that when we are doing our analysis, but we can see what's inside that state data. So for instance, data dot, sorry, I use this dates, then together with value. So normally, if you just call states, you would have this. But when you are paying value counts, so when you are paying value counts to it, you're going to see a whole different thing. So you are seeing grand processes, you are seeing recovered, you are seeing diamond process push. So it does different things, right? So we don't need this thing from me. Okay, you can decide to leave it, but I'm not going to deal with it. So some of the things that I said we could do, first of all, we want to do a country-wise analysis. Oh yes, we need to really check our dates. We need to convert it into a date time, first of all. So to do that, I think the way to do that is data. Sorry, let me just go straight. So PD dots to date time. So PD to date time. Then inside here you put in the actual thing you want to convert, which is data and I think date, capital letter DATE. Then you want to store this back into you want to store it into dates. That's going to be data, yes, data and dates. Sorry, dates. Enter. So if you run this now, of course you're not going to see any output, but if you go back to run this now, you find out that your date is now has changed its data type to date time. So I can extract things like year, I can extract weekday, I can extract weeks, I can extract months, I can extract those things from it. So you can create small columns. So let's say uh, data uh, dates, sorry, dates dot dt dot. So let me say I want to do. I'm even getting some helper from here. So if I say I want days days. So if I want days, I just have to run this. Then okay, wait. I think it's day. Yeah, to give you the day. But if you want the weekday, think it is just weekday. One of those things I don't put in my head. Yeah, weekday. So it gives the number. Then if you want it in actual name of the week, then I think you can do let me take this back so I can get the upper function to work for me. So I think yeah, day of the week. Then I think you have to, if you don't close it, you should not get the results. Let me see. Uh wait, hold on. Day of the week. Let me try again. If it's not day of the week, then I think it's supposed to be. Let me check this one. Day of week. Okay, still the same thing. I run it somewhere. I was getting actual day. I think maybe it was month, anyways. So basically, you get the day. You get it gives you it extracts that data from the year basically, so you can expand and do more things. So we are going to see into that. I hope time permit us. So back to our data. So one thing we want to do is, like I said, we want to do a group, uh, a country-wise analysis. So that means we will have to group all the data we have by each country, because in the data set here, it's only arranged by. It's not like it's arranged by dates, but for each date there's a country, there's a region. I think you can do that by checking the shape of our data, which is data.shape. So it tells us the size, the length. So we have 321 rows and we have 6 countries. So so if we decide to group by days, by country, so that would mean that we would have to do a group by more of like a pivot table. So to do that, you're going to run it like data dot uh sorry, just 1 second. So you're going to run like data dot group by. Yeah. So what do you want to group it by? Want to group by the region as REGION. Then what are we doing today? So when we group it, are we summing? Are we are we getting the mean? Are we getting the mode? So we are summing it, more like getting the counts. Then I think if you run this, you will get something like this, where you have regions. Of course, there's something here. I think I mentioned the reasons why we usually have this error. In future, numerically we default to false. I think I just leave it. I think we handled this in the last. So I think it's complaining because it has state, and state is an object data. So we have region here. So now if you look at this, Afghanistan seems to have a very, okay, I wouldn't say very, because one, now this is not sorted, right? So now let's do something interesting. Let's sort this. Yeah, sorry, let's store this first. So let's say countries equals to, then you have countries here. Exactly. So we have countries now. So it's good by countries. So you can now decide to sort this in whichever way you want to do it. Do you want to sort by the confirmed dates? Do you want to sort by the dates? Do you want to sort by the recovery? So if you want to sort, depending on which you want to sort for, you can, okay, let's say you want to sort by the confirmed date. You want to know the highest with the confirmed date. So all you have to do is sorry, am I spelling it very well? Yes, I have to countries dot sorts underscore values. Then you are sorting by what index. So what index do you want to use to sort? We want to use a confirmed, which is confirmed. And is it ascending? Yes. No, first, one from. First means make it from largest to smallest. So let's run this now. Now you can see now that US has more confirmed confirmed cases, right? But this still does not say much because you can have a very high confirmed case and also a very high recovery rate. That means, sorry, and high people that have recovered. That means the recovery rate is very high, right? So we would have to do something around recovery rate and um, we have to do something around recovery rates and we also have to do something around mortality rates. So I think right away we can we can post sorry did I say post sorry we can actually try to see if we can do this on a plot, right? Plot this. So to do that, usually first of all, I would like to test my plot. So um, I'll just call SNS. So SNS is Seaborn dot plots. What am I plotting? Um, so what I want to plot? I want to plot the country against the confirmed cases. So let's say X. Sorry, that means I want to put my countries on the sorry, on the Y column. So Y will be equals to region, sorry, region, while X, sorry, X will be equals to the actual, that's confirmed. Y, it has something called data, and data is equals to um, data. That's the name of our data. So I think if I should run this, oh, it has nothing, sorry. I think I should use a bar H. No. I should actually use. Hold on. I can't use plots. I have to plot something, so it has to be without plots. Yeah. I hope I imported SNS. So this is coming in. Ah, so you can see we're having some issues here. So what we can now do is to go back to our country. This is like giving us all the countries. So we can now go back to this, right? We sorted the values. So we could decide to store this back into countries, then maybe display the top 10, right? So more of like, say, countries, then store this back into countries so that when you check countries again, so countries will now have been sorted by confirmed cases. So you can now get, let's say, the first 10. So that means if I want to filter data for the first 10, all I have to say is data dot, I could do iLook. Sorry, I could just look. Then put this, that's from 0 to 10. So this will give me the first 10 data. So you can see it here. So, but it's on data. So if I was supposed to do this on countries. Ah, okay. Uh, so I can't do this because its index is actually different. Okay, yeah, so this is it. So I use iLook instead because I'm using index. So I can take this now, right? But I think I haven't made a mistake here. This should have been what countries. Actually, I made a mistake. But nevertheless, could not interpret a build switcher because region was now the index. So let's do this. So first, another thing is this is not the country is the index value, right? So okay, so the country is the index value. So I can decide that I want to index it and make the index 0 to 1, like 0 to 100 or and so forth. Or I decided I want to use this. So I could say uh think X in that case will be countries uh dot index. Still getting an error. So it's saying could not interpret input region. Probably. Oh, that's why. Sorry, sorry. So why the number should be like this? Then here I'll have my confirmed cases. Yeah, so this should work. Oh, another error. Could not interpret input confirmed. So I made a mistake. It was supposed to be capital C. Okay. Aha. Now look at this now. It looks like highest. You can see all of this coming, but it's still too much, right? So that's why we needed the first 10. So you could just do this and put to 10. So this will only give you for the first. Oh, okay. I can do this. So I'll just do this. Then um, replace this, right? Then my countries, my data here will also be this. So it's basically what we did here, just to get the first 10, because we want to just do the bar plot for just the first 10. You saw what doing it on everything will look like. So now you can now see what it looks like with just uh with just the first 10 data. So you can see US has a very high margin compared to every other state. Every other state was followed them in terms of country that actually had that confirmed cases. So I'll now go on to say, of course, this is there are other things I could do to this, but I'm just going to leave it like this. So I think the next thing to do is you can now go on to check. Okay, which what about when we are talking about when we are talking about recovery? When we are talking about debt, which country had the highest debts, right? So you want to arrange them in the 10 in accordance. So first of all, you have to sort them. So you can sort again. So you can just take every other thing here. Sorry, and sort this. So if you sort this by, so right now you don't want to sort by confirm, you want to sort it by depth. So you see now that it's sorted by depth, right? Then you want to do your analysis again on this. So we take this, just copy this here. So this time around, we are changing, uh, we are going to be changing this to dirt. So right now you can also see that US also is topping the chart. Now, what's the chances of them also topping the chart and recovery, right? We don't know. So what do? We do the same thing again. So I'll just create a new one. So better still, I can have it on a single line. So I'll just take this, replace countries with this, then change the dates to I think is it recovered? Okay, recovered. So if you now run this, you should get number of cases. So you can also see it now. And when we're now talking about recovery, US is not the top. Spain is actually the top. So now there's actually some we're expecting that US will, because they have higher they have higher what's it called? Higher confirmed. They have the highest confirmed cases. They also have the highest confirmed deaths. So but it happens that they do have the highest uh confirmed um recovered cases, right? So that's another thing we want to look at. So that's where mortality rates and um, what's the other one? Um, I think mortality is it mortality rate and recovery rates? Yes, that's where those two things now come in. So you now have to look into, okay, how can we go about it, right? Sorry. So you can now say, how can we go about it? So these are just based on the regions. After we started time, checking across times. Um, so now let's check. Let's see. Um, when we can now go into time. Okay, before time, I mentioned here, you know, that's actually checking recovery rates, that's mortality rates and recovery rates for each country. So to do that, you need the formula like total deaths over the total confirmed cases. That's like the mortality rates. So if you go back to the head of the data, I see my data here. It's more of like you want to check, okay, what's the ratio of confirmed cases to recovered cases for a particular country. So in that case, we can't use this. We're going to use our group by the data we grouped together because this gives us the aggregation for each country. So what we have to do is divide the confirmed by the deaths, then from there. So that means we are going to manipulate these data sets. Sorry, this data now. So just come with me. So now this is the process of me doing the data sets, right? Walking through it, showing you that it's not just magic. It's just a process that we all can go through. So here is countries again. So remember what we want to do is we want to divide confirmed by recovery. So to do that, what we are going to say is just countries um in brackets we have confirmed, sorry, confirmed, and you divide it by what you divide it by sorry, countries, then you divide it by recovered. Yeah, so when you do this, it's going to perform that it's going to do that. Now there's also an issue because there are some cases where you have zero recovered cases where some people didn't even recover, right? But we are not looking at that, so we just want to go through that. Then we'll store that into, I think it is total deaths, total recovered over total confirmed, right? Yeah, total deaths over total confirmed. So yeah, I think it is supposed to be uh recovered. Hold on, this is a mistake. Over confirmed, yes, I think it's correct now. Yeah, so you should not have those issues. So we're now going to store this into recovery, into what we call recovery rates. So to do that, we just store another one. So more of like countries. Then inside here we have recovery, and I'll separate it with underscore as usual. So if I run this now and I go back into countries, right? Um, countries. Now, if you go into countries now, you see that we now have what we have, like an extra column, recovery rate. So we can do the same and add the mortality rate. So to add the mortality rate, we would just do something like this same formula. Then we change it to mortality, and here we want to have deaths, right? So if you now run this again, so at the process, we are also seeing how we can manipulate our data to create more information. So basically, these informations that we've added, in fact, all of these informations was not there. This was what was given to us, which was just the state, the region, the confirmed, the date, and the recovered, right? And now we are talking about recovery rates, total people that recovered for a country, the deaths, the confirmed cases. That's what we're talking about now, right? So we can now, go ahead to see, just like we did with sorting it, so we can, you know, sort data and get, oh, which country has higher recovery rates now. So this way we now understand which country was actually doing well. So let's say, so we don't want to sort by recovered now, we want to sort by recovery rates. Recovery, so this will be recovery rates. So if I plot this now, I should have a very nice plot. Awesome. So yeah, you can see these are countries that you don't even know. Cambodia, mainland China. Okay, we know mainland China. Mauritius, Iceland. Yes. Okay, Australia, South Korea. At least I know those. I know those. I know those few countries. So those are countries that their recovery rates were actually above 0.8%, 8%. That's like top 10. I think if I reduce this, or if I make it, let's say, to give us like top 20, let's say if US is there. Uh, okay, I have to change this to 20. Sorry. So you can see now we are talking about top 20 now. New Zealand was able to make Vietnam, Dominica, Jordan, Gambia. US is still not here, right? So that's actually something. So these are little things. These are insights that we are looking for. We are looking at recovery rate. Now let's go and check uh, mortality rates. Let's see the countries that we have there. You can't have a very high recovery rate and also have a very high mortality rate. That's not possible, actually. So mortality. So let me run mortality rates. So now look at the mortality rates for the top 10 country. We have UK here, but we don't have US, right? So how can we find US? Because we are really interested in the details for US. So to do that, we should have to use, get it ourselves. I think if I change this to 20, let me see if US is here. So 20, is US here? Is US here? Nope. US is also not here. So that's something. So let's just change this back. Then now, oh sorry, not this. So let's go and check where US falls. So that means we want to get countries that pertain to US itself. So if you look at this countries, um, so we want the index to be US, right? So we are going to say uh, countries dot index equals US. I think it's US capital letters. Then first of all, I usually like to run this first. So if I get this, then I can see where I have true. So I embed this into country. So more like to filter. So when I do this now, I'm going to see where details for US alone. Confirmed cases was around I think this is 1 million cases. They had about 6,000 deaths. Their recovered was about 120,000, and their recovery rate was about 0.11, which is very low compared to those that had like 80%, right? Mortality rates was also low, right? So that's like people that confirmed recovery. Sorry, mortality rates is actually very low. So they tried. They had a very low mortality rate. It's not high enough, actually. Also, their recovery rate is also what not high enough. So you can see where US falls. So you can see how this can drive your decision making. Determine, oh, where can I focus on? I want to move to another country, right? You can see people that I don't even know Cambodia as a country, right? As a region. Then you can see worst places. I think you can see their mortality rates in those countries, right? So I think the mortality rate should be highest. Yeah, so these are the countries that had the highest mortality rate. That's the number of ratio of deaths to confirmed cases. So it shows that they had higher, they had more deaths cases. So this is more of like understanding, doing simple. These are actually like simple charts, anyways. Like just getting plots. I made this like this because it's easier to view. So let's go back to our drawing board. So we've seen the mortality rate for each country, right? We actually viewed do a plot for the top 10. We also checked for recovery rates. Now we want to now see with respect to these, like with respect to D, which D had the most confirmed dates, the highest confirmed dates, which they had the highest record of. So that day can be maybe something happened. Now this is where you can now go ahead to check. Maybe there was a public holiday. Maybe that day was okay. Let's just check it out. I'm sorry, I'm even writing comments because maybe I should be writing comments. So we want to check the day that had the highest confirmed cases. So in countries, once again, I would like to print it out so that we can all see. So in countries, we want to check where this confirmed. So we are not even going to use countries again because it doesn't have D. So we go back to data. Actually, this is why viewing the data is very important. So we'll come back here. Now, we are going to group this data by date. So it's going to be like data dot group by uh dot group by, what are you grouping by? We want to group by what? The dates. So dates, and we want to sum, that's dot sum. So the data we want to actually view, we want to view the dates. We also want to view confirmed. We need region. No, we want confirmed. Also, we want deaths, and we want recovered. So let's see what happened. Dates not an index. What's been? Oh yes, dates not going to be here because it's grouping by dates. Okay. Hold on. I think something is wrong. Um, sorry, hold on. Why do you have? Oh, sorry. Let me try count. So count. Okay, so something is going on. I'm only having data for 1 day. That's because I'm grouping by dates. So let me check my data here. It happens to everybody. Okay, so it looks like I have just a single dates in this data, just from 2020 to 409. So this is the dates. So that means the date is not changing. All I have to do is check the highest dates, the highest counts here. So all I have to do is just do dates confirmed, then dot marks. Then this will give me the highest the highest number of the highest number of cases confirmed for a particular case, like for a particular uh, row. So this is like giving us like we have about 299, sorry, yeah, 299,000, right? So that's like getting that information out. Then also, now I also wrote something here, highest recovery in a single day, and I begin to imagine, okay, why would I need this? How how can I get the highest recovery in a single day? Or why do I even need to get it, right? If I'm saying for confirmed deaths, I probably need it for maybe analysis of all those things. So why would I need the highest recovery for a single day? Why would I need that kind of data? Why would I need the kind of information? To me, it might be useless, right? But to the person I'm presented to, it might be one of the key points. So sometimes it means that your stakeholder could actually give information about the things that he or she is expecting from you, or what they are expecting from you, what they expect you to present your analysis reports on. So I've been writing a lot of things, right? I've been doing some codes, but originally I don't want to be focused on all of this. How I'm writing this. What I'm actually focused on when I'm presenting, when I'm telling my story, should be the report itself. So from this report now, you could actually just from this chart, you could see if I give you this chart and I tell you to analyze it, there's a lot of things that is wrong with this chart. Number one, it doesn't have a title, right? Number two, the X column just says death, right? Are you telling us the total number of deaths? Right? We have no information. All we are just seeing is US very high, Italy, uh, you know, not as high as US, and we are seeing how everything goes low, but we don't have information of how and why this thing is like. We don't have information of what this. So this is where you now have to start using, writing some other things. I think I will demonstrate that with this last one. So for instance, now this is the mortality rates information. So I could come down here to start writing things. So Matplotlib library that we imported will help us with this. So all you have to do is plt.title. So you can write the title you want, for instance, mortality uh, rates based on countries. So if I run this now, um, you can see the title here now, mortality rates based on countries. Now you have understanding that okay, this data is a is this chart is telling us an information on the mortality rates. So what else is it? So you could now say COVID, right? COVID mortality rates. So this give more, it adds more context to your plot, to your chart. So you can see that okay, this is should be like mortality ratio. Okay, if you say mortality rates, that's fine. So you can see now this is much more. I can make sense of this data, right? COVID mortality rates based on countries. So I know I'm supposed to have countries. I'm supposed to have mortality rates, right? So they are also. I'm thinking of. So these are called actually. They are called. Okay, these are called univariate data sets. Sorry, bivariates. So they are types of analysis. I think we dealt with it when we are talking about we're dealing with terms, new terms, and terms that you're not familiar with. I think we talked about univariates, bivariates. So univariates basically is just a single. You're looking at a single data set and you are giving information on that, right? And while bivariate is you um simply um taking two or more columns together and you are doing analysis based on multiple columns. That's just bivariate and univariate anyways. So you can, I think I'll just round up now. Okay, are there regions with no reported deaths? So this is also something we want to look at, right? Um, which region has no deaths record at all, right? So you want to check, so where is it? So you want to check, so to do that, you just check data, then So that means there's no confirmed case there. The confirmed case there is zero. So confirmed equals to zero. Of course, we are seeing a lot of so let me put data. So let me see. Oh, awesome. So there were three places where okay, maybe add some dates because this date is I don't know why this date is just one single date. But you can see that there was actually some places where okay, maybe based on this, sure. But okay, I think this would not work. Let's use countries instead. These countries tell us give us an aggregate of the sum. So now let's check based on countries. Countries dot sorry, countries is confirmed equals to what? Zero. Then you want to close this inside countries. So remember we are just applying a filter. So if you run this now, you can see zero. There's no country that actually has zero confirmed case. So it means that all the countries in this data set, let me start with, had uh, all the countries in this data set had cases of COVID-19 at some point or the other. So having that, you know that okay, maybe like no place is safe, something like that. I don't know. What date was the first recovery of the location? So I don't think the issue with trends and dates will actually apply here because from what I could find out, it looks like our date is a single type of data. So we are saying 419 2020. So let me check dates data.tail. So tail will give you the last four, sorry, last five. Yeah, so here is it. So you can see the tail. So you can see that it's also 2020 to 429. So it means that something is wrong. So this data set is more of like the date, maybe the dates were not correct or so. Wait, let me reload this. Okay, so one of the things like I really emphasize Python is that I can restart, I can redo all of this without all I have to do is just click a button, right? So for instance, if I'm going to rerun all of this now, I think run time, then run all. So this will repeat everything I've done with just a single click. So the data has been loaded, everything. So you can see it here. So you can see F429, 429, 429, 429. So this data set is not like very okay. I just pick it up and wanted to do something small. Maybe I should have done something. I should have gotten one with very complex. So basically, everything I ran running the same way. If you remember correctly. Um, yep. And here you go. Yeah. So this is checking for regions with confirmed cases. So we found out there's no region with confirmed cases. So basically, now if I'm going to tell a story about this data, I I don't necessarily have to present my results with my Jupyter notebook. Of course, I can use my Jupyter notebook, but I'll just have to include more explanations or more things like text. For instance, you see code and text. So text means you can actually use text. You can actually write into it. Like write, for instance, after doing this now, you could put a text below it and say, okay, from the charts above, um, we could um understand understand that what happened here. Oh, Nicaragua Nicaragua has the highest mortality rates. Was it mortality? Oh, yeah, mortality rates. Mortality rate. So you could see that you could get that you could just write that and you run that, right? Fine, that works. But what is more conventional is to use the presentation to move like PowerPoint. So you can actually export all of these charts, right? For instance, hold on. So I think I can save this image. So if I save this image now, you can see save image as. So I can basically download this image to my system and use it for my plots. I think if I make this, let me see. Uh, Let me see. I think if I run the complete, I should be able to even do a simple export. Uh, okay, I think I can double click on this. Usually, there's another way you can actually. Okay, not seeing it anyway. So, you can just do that to deal with your images, right? Copy your images and go and deal with it in PowerPoint. Then, of course, you are telling a story, so it's more of like a presentation. Like you want to do a presentation of your analysis. So that way you take all of this data. Let me see if I can do another kind of um, another kind of data. So um, so here I have countries. I have mortality rates. I have to take a look at the country data set to see what I can bring out. Um, okay, confirmed date and recovery. Right, so I think I can do something like that. So let's look at that. So let's see confirm debt recovery, and let me get the, I think here I did recovery. So I better still, let me just write it from scratch. So country, so I want to do a chart that displays each country and their, oh no, I don't want to do each country. So let me do each country, that would be too large. Okay, let me just do the first 10. The first 10 to also be very large. Okay, so this is what we'll do. I would sort, I'll get this data, I'll sort it by confirmed first, sort by dates and recovered, so that we have the highest cases on top. Then we can now pick the top 10. Then we can now do something. So let's say countries dot sort values. Normally I should not be sorting values too much, but here I am. So I'm sorting by confirmed first. So I'm putting it in a list actually. So then deaths, then recover, sorry, okay, recovery rate. I'm not supposed to be doing this by now. Sorry, recovered, right? Then ascending, ascending will be force. So let me see, does it work? Yep. So here is it. We have it now. So we are picking the top 10. So top 10, and we store this in, let's say, top 10 countries, or let's just say top, yeah, let's just do it like that. So what we don't want to do is we want to create a plot. So let's say sns dot plots bar, right? So let me see, uh x data would be, and that's the countries. Okay, let me put it on, yeah, let me put it on the hex. So we are going to have top dot index. Originally x is usually the first, then y would be, let me see, what did I use for y? Let me see if I can put a list. Actually, I have not confirmed this, just playing around. Then that's, and the data itself will be top. Let's see how this goes. Yep. Oh, plot bar. No, I use bar plots. Mistake. Sorry, bar plots. There's also another error. Either x or y appears to be numeric. So no. Sub dot index. Let me even view what top is. Looks like it's not giving me the data I wanted. Okay, top dot index. So usually what top dot index is, because the index of this data is actually region. So it will be US, Spain, Italy, you know, more of that. Let me reduce this. Uh, so I should just do it in normal way. Okay, not interpret input confirm. Can I spell it well? Okay, something is wrong. Um, I haven't see it here. Let me just take this and copy it. I'm still going to keep this here. I don't know what I did wrong with it. So my y, so on my y-axis, I want to have top dot index, and here I want to have confirm, then here I want to have top. Okay, what's going on? Oh, I see it. Yeah, I have D in capital letters. Sorry. So beneath this, I'm going to plot on another plot. Usually works. Confirmed, and x here will be let me see, x here is not going to be confirmed. It's going to be recovered. Okay, let me see. Yeah, see dot here. So I wanted actually to make, I want to mix it together, but it looks like it's not coming through. So it looks like it's not coming through, but that was what I intend to do actually. um Let's see, size equals to 10,5. So this is like basically setting some parameters for plots basically. So this determines the size. The first one determines the size of the charts. Well, looks like I wasn't able to get that done. Uh, so basically what I just wanted to mention that at the end of the day, you can go ahead to explore and do multiple charts. I've done quite a few analysis. So some of you have seen my GitHub repository. Some of you have found some, so you could access it easily, right? Could also drop some links that you could use to access some of those analyses that I've done. Some are complex, some are very simple, depending on which one you open. So basically, yeah, that's what I was supposed to end with. I didn't plan to take much time. So so I mentioned the presentation parts when you're presenting, how you go about presenting your reports of your analysis, whether with Python, whether with Excel, whether with Power BI. I think it's easier to show everything, with Power BI. Could show multiple plots in a single picture. You could bring them together. You could do that here, but it's easier with Power BI, I must confess. So I think we have come to the end of the classes for Python. Uh, what we are to await is projects. So the next phase is to start working on. I would give the description of what the project will look like and the deadline, and I think that's what we are going to be working on for a couple of weeks before we finally round up uh, 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 our time together. So I think for those on the call right now, thank you for being around. Yes, I think some of us were around yesterday. I don't know. Yeah, I said a couple of things yesterday. Yeah, it was more of like an official call. But we're having more of it, right? Basically, just to have fun, right? See what everybody is up to. Yeah, just basically to share what we are currently learning, what we are currently doing with data analysis, right? Yeah, that's pretty it. So, from here, so you'll be expecting projects and also a review on all the assignments we have done. Um, I would I would find time to start working on those so I can give that back to us. I think if there are any other things, I'll communicate it to us on the WhatsApp group.